to the kennel. The Browns
have won
against the Steelers in Pittsburgh in the playoffs. Nobody thought it was going to happen besides me.
including me.
He didn't, but they did. They
had
won.
no idea. You all did. And
Who do you
Stevie
think
did.
you are?
I am.
That's right.
The Browns, bro. What a weird feeling. I can't believe I'm so happy I was wrong.
28-0 in the first quarter.
Unbelievable.
28-0 in the first quarter.
The best possible start. I was just back and forth.
I wasn't even drunk yet.
My family and friends.
28-0.
I just, it kind of makes you question yourself. Did I take some hallucinogenics? What's happening? What dimension am I in?
We didn't know what to do. I kept looking at the screen.
Am I in a coma?
Called my dad at halftime. We were just out of our minds.
I talked to my dad. We couldn't believe it. What was happening?
Out of our minds.
So we'll get into it.
Yes, we have a lot to talk about. It's going to be excellent, and it's just a great time to be a Browns fan.
Jesus.
We've earned this. We're at episode 145. We're going to talk about the Browns and Steelers game. We're on to Kansas City after that. We'll do a preview episode. We'll be on top of that, swear. We have to. We have no choice now. It's on. So
we're in.
We're going to focus on the Steelers today, though. Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Turn your notification bell. If you really want to help the show, tell your friends. That goes the longest way. Or family. Or random strangers you meet on the internet. Maybe get on the Tinder and hit up some chicks and let them know that you're listening to the kennel. Or dudes if you are a chick. Or if you're, into that.
Whatever
cool. Yeah, whatever you got to do.
As long as you like the Browns, you're cool here. So besides that, it doesn't really matter.
That'd be good. So
from there, we're gonna of course reveal the quick predicts.
Yes, we'll do the quick predicts, and don't forget follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Football Kennel. If you're on a podcast app, do whatever it needs you to do to interact with the show.
The Browns won, and we're gonna get into it.
Yes.
Are you ready?
48-37.
Let's go.
Game review.
Getting right into it. Victory Monday. The Browns knocked off the Steelers from the playoffs. Wild card weekend, primetime slot, without our head coach, without a bunch of other coaches, without a bunch of people, important players.
More players,
linemen we didn't know.
More players went out.
Unbelievable. We're going to get into it. Browns win at Heinz Stadium, 48-37. We're moving on to Kansas City, like Stevie said earlier. I can't believe I'm saying this. The Browns continue on into the divisional. Is this the divisional round, correct?
Yes, because that was wild card, the divisional, and then conference championship.
And we're going to get into it immediately, of course, with what happened from the get-go. The errant snap, once we deferred, Pouncey, crazy high snap, Big Ben, James Conner, go after it.
They went after it like pussies.
Totally like, hesitant. Are you going to get it? Are you grabbing it? No, you're grabbing it. Okay, cool.
Talk smack about that.
I've seen some people criticize it, just kind of calling out that
they didn't try at all.
They were unsure. It looked because it was like,
you gotta get down on the ball, man.
If both of you are slamming into each other, Stop worrying about who's gonna hit who. Get the ball. At least land on it in the end zone. Get a safety.
Losers.
Give the ball back. Then at least it's not that bad. But nonetheless, the Browns get a crazy hype up start. Then we get the ball back, and guess what happens immediately?
Well, the Steelers got the ball and they turned it over immediately.
Right, that's what I meant. They get the ball back, and that's what I meant. It was a typo, verbal typo.
That's right. Short-circuited a little.
Yeah. They get the ball back, of course, because we scored from that, and immediately throw an interception. MJ Stewart filling in for missing our arguably you could say our top three, with Greedy being out. I know he's been out all year, but Denzel and Kevin Johnson being out. So MJ Stewart steps in a big way. He had a huge game.
Great game, 10 tackles.
And it starts off with this interception on their second drive, right off the rip. Bring it back. We get the ball back, and on our first third down, beautiful play to Jarvis Landry from Baker. A rocket. Oh, I thought I had everything muted, but yeah, that's the game. It's Bill Donovan telling you what's going down.
Jim Donovan. Whatever.
Jim Bill.
Yeah, and then we just start steamrolling from there. We get the Jarvis touchdown on a third down.
Before you know it,
it's 14-0.
14-0.
And then Kareem Hunt's running for touchdowns, and we're doing all that.
At one point in the game, he had 2 carries
for 2 touchdowns. What more do you want?
In the first,
and Nick Chubb was running wild early in the game.
He had a crazy big run, a couple crazy big runs, big first downs. I mean, just an unbelievable performance from a team that had nothing to lose. And a lot of credit here to the coaching staff stepping into this contingency plan and being able to put forward a beautiful game plan for the Browns to go out there and execute. And I mean, they played loose. They played with some spunk. And then the best thing to do to Baker Mayfield in a situation like that is basically to take all pressure off his shoulders and have him go into the game 17-0.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or I'm sorry, 14, and eventually 28-0 without him having to do much.
And we stayed pretty aggressive. We fell off a little, but we stayed aggressive. I thought we were going to run the ball a lot more than we did, but time of possession was kind of crazy because of everything that happened. We'll talk about that, but we were still aggressive with Baker. And when Baker Mayfield for the past, 7-8 games
has been playing at elite
He's a
levels.
top 10 quarterback. He's a great quarterback in the NFL. So when you have a great quarterback in the NFL, you roll with them, man. And we rolled with them. There's a lot of stats I want to get into. I want to get this one out of the way so I can close the window. But
before we rip into the stats, I wanted to...
How dare you?
You brought up Baker Mayfield. I just wanted to say...
This is about Baker Mayfield.
I know. Well,
it's incredible.
All I wanted to say before you lead into the stats about Baker Mayfield is how incredible it's been to basically be seeing him grow up in front of our very eyes.
Literally.
He was making some crazy check down plays.
People were doubting him all year.
Were beautiful.
We never doubted.
Just the perfect plays to set us up to live another down or get the first down.
He's a legend.
With the dunk off and beautiful.
Here's the crazy thing about this game. I just want to talk. I'm not going to get into all the stats. I just want to bring this thing up because it's crazy. Aditi Kikawababala. Sorry. I tried. I really thought it was going to come out clean.
She's a real nice lady, but if I would have tried,
awesome.
it would have been worse.
It would have been, yeah, I pulled a G
worse.
on there with it. No, I really like, she's on 92 Through the Fan a lot. I think she's really great.
Yeah, I think she does stuff for the Steelers, but
yeah, she does Browns and
pretty
Steelers.
partial.
Yeah, Browns and Steelers. I think she does a good job, though. Anyways, so she tweeted, the Steelers have led the NFL in sacks for 4 straight years. 4 consecutive seasons, the Steelers have led the NFL in sacks, and they've even had a sack in 73 straight games, which is maybe an NFL record. There's been some disputing about that. But in last night, in a home playoff game against the Browns team, we're missing our offensive line coach. We were missing our offensive line coach assistant. We had like a third string guard in there,
who Baker had just introduced himself to.
Well, no, not even that. Not even yet. We had a third string guard in there, and Michael Dunn. He goes down, and now we have a guy from a practice squad who played in the XFL, never even played in the NFL, come in at left guard. Been on the team for a week.
His entire time he had spent it in the practice squad with the Jets.
Yeah, well, it was a terrible team, so he couldn't even get into the roster of the Jets. So he comes over, no one even knows who he is. Coach Stefanski hasn't even met him yet. He said he looks forward to meeting him. So he comes in at left guard. Jack Conklin, our all-pro right tackle, goes down, and Kendall Lamb, who I thought was hurt and not even going to be in the game.
We reported he was out.
Yeah, so when I was like, who's going to play right tackle? And they're like, Kendall Lamb. I'm like, Kendall Lamb?
He's alive?
I can't even keep track. So despite all of those things, so the Steelers lead the NFL in sacks 4 straight years, 73 straight games of the sack, home playoff game against the Browns with all the offensive line issues. Don't even talk about the head coach thing. They didn't sack Baker Mayfield at all. 0 sacks in this game. TJ Watt had some moments, but was largely neutralized.
He was, kind of effective on the run game.
But in the passing game, you didn't even see him.
We had the perfect game plan.
It was insane.
It was great.
It was completely insane.
To see, yeah.
So that speaks to not just the coaching and the offense, but especially, of course, the offensive line, but especially Baker Mayfield with the quick releases, trusting the offense. He is the fact that people called him a one-read quarterback for so long is so laughable because he's going through his reads at an elite level. Like when he's making those checkdowns, they're early in the play.
So quick.
And he's got great pocket presence. His footwork, they did a zoom in on his footwork at one point, and it was
sexual.
Dude, it's perfect.
It was beautiful.
It's perfect. So he's come a million miles, but
the man is growing up before our very eyes.
It's incredible. So talking before we get into more stats, let's talk about some of the injury stuff that happened and what's going on, or whatever. Some notes section here.
So I do have on the injury front, Conklin, and then a quarterback, Robert Jackson, one of the other guys that had to step up for missing Denzel Ward and Kevin Johnson day-to-day with hamstrings. And then we have Dunn, who stepped in at the guard position for Bitonio. He's also day-to-day with a calf. He, like you mentioned, went down kind of late in the game. Conklin, around the halfway point, obviously.
And he came back out and was standing around. Conklin was.
Right. So he remains day-to-day. So you're hopeful that by Sunday, he can get in, especially if you keep him limited early on.
Yeah, hopefully we're good to go. And we're getting...
We know with those hamstrings, it's super hard to tell. I'm not very familiar with calf but we know with the hamstrings.
Fair.
Calf injuries. I'm just not.
The good news is we're getting Batonio back, and then Robert Jackson, who is like a fifth-string corner who's been thrust into more playing time. We're getting Kevin Johnson back, Denzel Ward back, Money Mitchell played every snap. I mean, barring anything crazy happening, yeah, they'll be back. That's confirmed.
Okay, I don't, because Kevin Stefanski said in his press conference today he didn't have much to say about any of that.
He never says anything. There was a good chance that Kevin Johnson and Denzel Ward were supposed to be available for this Steelers game.
I know.
And then they had a setback. So I'm pretty much guaranteeing they'll be back. Mark my words.
There's also the thing is there's also a human element to this is.
How Miles has been winded playing a cornerback like Denzel. And we need Denzel Ward. I'm looking ahead already, but we need Denzel Ward because Tyreek Hill next. Chiefs, this is going to be nuts.
Needs to be there against.
We desperately need him. We desperately need him. But
so I just don't want to say anything. We'll know more hopefully by preview episode about their status in particular and maybe where we're at with Conklin. Batonio is a big one. You would hope that based on the timeline he's around the same time frame as Kevin Stefanski, which supposedly he's cleared by Thursday if things continue the way they have been so far. So lots to go there. And then in terms of the game, obviously if you watch the game, big first half by the Browns. Just a crazy game.
Yeah, I like your note here. It is kind of funny stat line. In the first half, the Steelers actually led the time of possession 1940 to 1020. They possessed the ball for almost twice as long as us because they kept turning it over and we kept scoring so damn fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was wild. We won the turnover battle in this game 5-0, which is just completely off the charts. Big Ben attempted 68 passes in this game.
Mind you, against a team that is known for creating pressure, is known for getting to the quarterback, is known for specifically creating turnovers via interceptions. Mm-hmm. And here we are, 5-0, won the turnover battle. Just unbelievable.
Well, we needed it, and
100%.
And it was everything.
And that's what they kept stressing. Apparently, the coaching staff just kept telling the players. They truly believed that whoever won the turnover battle was going to come out.
And that's why they got that turnover chain.
Yeah,
the little dog pound. We're 10-0 in games in which we tie or win the turnover battle this year.
That is correct.
That's pretty significant.
It is.
So you had all that going on, and I like that you put this here too because I was saying it during the game. Dallas, early in the season, we blew out in the first half, and then they came roaring back in the second half, but we were able to hold them off. And then same thing with the Titans. We were up 38-7 on the Titans, and we were able to hold them off, but they really made a lot of headway in the second half. Similar situation here. It was 35-10 at halftime against the Steelers, and there in that second half, they ended up roaring back. Big Ben ended this game with 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, with 4 touchdowns and 500 passing yards. So, of course, we're without a couple corners, and he had to throw the ball 68 times to get there, so that's less than 10 yards per attempt. So the defense was very much so, and Joe Woods spoke about this after the game. Mr. not muting his laptop.
Oh, sorry.
Joe Woods was talking about this after the game, where their goal was to basically the whole bend but don't break. No big plays over the top.
And
keep
you
everything
could tell
in front
that
of you.
was the defensive game plan.
And it hurt a little here and there, but most of the Steelers scoring drives, with the exception of one of the drives was really quick, they all took a long time. They all took a lot of time off the clock. And with the lead that we had, and the fact that when it was 28-0 and the Steelers were able to score and get it 28-7 close to the end of the second half, we had a nice 2-minute drive to go get a touchdown real quick to make it 35-7. They got a field goal at the end, but whatever, 35-10. So our offense stayed aggressive, but the defense didn't allow the big plays, which made it almost impossible for the Steelers to get back into the game because they had to take too much time to score, despite running hurry-up offense, throwing the ball a million times. So I thought, some people may want to criticize the defense because they gave up 37 points and 500 yards and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, they forced 5 turnovers, and we won the game.
Yeah.
Down some of our top corners, all that different stuff.
The offense did what they need to do, and then you can make the argument the defense did as well, like you said, Ben, but don't break. And obviously you don't want to see the Steelers be able to come back like that, but I was worried, but late in the game, I based on Baker's response, I know we had those first initial drives. The Steelers owned third quarter, and I knew when we had those initial drives that basically we went 3 and out, we weren't able to generate anything, and they were driving down the field. There was definitely some concern, some nerves. But after Baker went out there and was able to answer after that second score by the Steelers, I was feeling a lot better about our chances to keep the pressure on, and I could tell that the attitude and swagger and confidence of Baker was undeterred. He nothing was getting in his way.
Oh, he was good. He was golden. Dude, we have just a lot of, starting with Baker, of course, we have a lot of guys that just have that intense belief in fight, like Jarvis, Chubb, Hunt, Higgins, of course, Baker. On the defensive side with Myles Garrett, I think Ronnie Harrison's a dog. I'm glad we have him, and I'd like to see if we can keep him for quite some time.
Yeah.
And we talked about this in the pregame. Hopefully we do get Denzel back going into next week, but not since week 10 have we had Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and Ronnie Harrison on the field at the same time. So hopefully we can have that moving forward, but you can really see in him, he had a really great fourth down stop on the line of scrimmage, which was huge. And then there was another fourth down where it was 4th and 1. The Steelers were on they're pretty much the 50-yard line, and they decided to punt, which I thought was crazy. And what did we do? Charge down and score. That's how you do it.
Yeah, Tomlin. That's a big criticism of Tomlin was his decision to punt on the 4th and 1 after they couldn't convert on the 3rd.
Yeah, and I think we had a couple stops on their 2-point conversions. I think we stopped them on both their 2-point conversions.
So
that was huge.
Yeah.
Despite being bad on 4th and 1, which that's why it's funny Tomlin didn't go for it. We have been, at least lately, I haven't looked at the stats, but we've been pretty good against 2-point conversions defensively. We've definitely had our moments.
I think so too. Yeah, in the few moments where teams have had to attempt for the 2, we've done well against them, I think.
It's crazy because we didn't just win this game. We won it in just a ridiculous historic fashion. So
broke a bunch of records.
Yeah, I'm going to read off some of those records from ClevelandBrowns.com just to run through these. Maybe you've seen them, but I don't care. They're extremely impressive. 28 points in the first quarter by the Browns is the most ever in the first quarter of an NFL playoff game. Ever. We're talking almost 60 years of NFL playoffs where we have the most points scored in a first quarter with 28. 35 points scored in the first half is the most by a road team in NFL playoff history in a first half by a road team. In the history of the playoffs, no road team has scored 35 points in the first half like we did, and that also ties for the most points the Browns have had in any half in a playoff game in franchise history, so first or second half. We scored 48 points total in this game. 48 points we scored in this game which is the most points we've scored in a Steelers game since September 10th, 1989, when we, in the season opener, beat the Steelers 51-0, which I can't imagine how fun that must have been. It's also the most points the Browns have ever scored.
Alive. Neither were you.
Yeah. It's also the most points the Browns have scored in a playoff game during the Super Bowl era.
Makes sense.
Which we haven't had a lot during the Super Bowl era, but still, that's extremely impressive.
Sure.
We forced 5 turnovers, like we talked about, winning the turnover margin 5-0. We forced 5 turnovers, which is tied for the most in a game that we forced in a game this season, and it's the most the Browns have forced in a playoff game since 1968.
That's amazing.
5 turnovers. We forced 3 turnovers in the first quarter, which is the most by a team in any quarter of any playoff football game since 1991. So in our entire lives. No big deal. So I said we're 10-0 when we win the turnover battle. Actually, 11-0. So 11 times this year we've won or tied the turnover battle, and we've won all 11 times. So 11 of our now 12 wins on the season. We have 12 wins on the season. We have 12 wins on the season.
And we have 18 games of Browns football going in 19 games of Browns football.
Incredible. So it's been 26 years since our last playoff victory, and that's done now. Last time we won a playoff game was 1994 against the New England Patriots. 26 years later, we win. Mm-hmm. This is the crazy one. It's been 51 years since the Browns have won a playoff game on the road.
1969.
51 years. 1969 at Dallas was the last time. 51 years ago. It doesn't even seem possible. The Browns scored 6 touchdowns, which is their most in a playoff game since 1954.
Unbelievable.
Baker Mayfield had a passer rating of 115.2, 21 of 34, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Browns are 8-0 this season when Baker Mayfield has a passer rating of 100 or better.
I believe he currently has the best QB performance in the playoffs up to this point.
I believe it 1,000%. We talked about 0 sacks being allowed. That's huge. We had 127 rushing yards as a team, which means we've cleared 100 in all but 3 games this season. Very impressive. This is a fun little stat. 54 minutes, 46 seconds That's how much time in this game we led by multiple scores. 5 minutes into the game, we were up by multiple scores, and we kept it that way for the rest of the game. So you can say what you want about the Steelers making a comeback and all that different stuff. We were up by multiple scores for all but the first 5 minutes.
The entirety of the game, except for the first 5 minutes, basically.
Insane. That about sums it up. So that's what I mean. And I did say in our last episode when we were predicting the record, we'll get into the kind of quick predicts. I did say that it was going to be a high-scoring game and it was going to be a crazy game, similar to the Ravens game on Monday night. Obviously, it wasn't quite like that with us taking a huge lead, but it was still even more high-scoring than I thought it was going to be, and even crazier than any of us could have imagined.
I mean, I thought they were going to lose, so that's that. Yeah.
I will say, when we were up 28-0, I was more nervous than I was at 0-0.
Yeah, right. For sure, of course.
Because you don't want to be that team that
blows a lead like that in
never.
that perfect scenario, and the Browns would be that team, right? So it would just be, another historic Browns loss, but instead it becomes a historic Browns win. Move on to the playoffs. Excuse me, an unbelievable performance.
Got indigestion with all that, so fired up.
I'm just crazy fired
And we
up.
did eat a bunch of pizza and wings last night. That was a lot of fun. We were smashing.
It's affecting me. We were messed up.
Oh, we were smashing.
messed up in a lot of different ways. We were eating all
It was hard to eat because the game was so crazy. We were eating like halfway through the first
things
quarter.
That are not good for you.
Yeah, well.
Putting things in your body, not good for you. So
it was hard to eat because we're trying to eat halfway through the first quarter and like just crazy shit and points kept happening. And I'm like, I'm just trying to eat this. I was like, I don't even chew. I think I ate a chicken
so
wing.
I can continue to nervous eat.
Yeah, I think I ate a chicken wing and like I took the whole bone. I was like, wait, wasn't I eating a bone wing? Where did it go? It was just incredible.
At one point, I was super, super full, and then within the next 5 minutes, I was like eating 2 breadsticks.
Panicking. Cheesy breadsticks. Oh my god.
Marinara sauce.
Oh,
so
no.
it's definitely, I'm feeling
Pouring Christmas sales on top.
Oh Jesus. So yeah, I mean,
I was dipping my breadsticks in Christmas ale. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I'm getting fired up.
We talked about 5 turnovers. 4 of those were forced in the first half of the game. Mm-hmm. So that's a fun little stat right there. And really, the distribution of the ball between all of our playmakers. You got Nick Chubb, 18 carries, 76 yards, 4 catches, 69 yards. And a touchdown. That's a lot. He did great. He's amazing.
His screen pass touchdown was incredible.
Oh, God. So
Joe Petonio had a great block up the field on that.
He didn't play.
Sorry, not Joe Petonio.
Nick Dunn or whatever. Dunn?
No, J.C. Treader. Sorry.
Close.
Yeah, J.C. Treader had a sick block up there, and then Nick Chubb broke 2 tackles, ran for 1,000,000 yards.
Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns on 48 yards and 8 carries. Jarvis Landry with 92 yards and a touchdown on 5 catches. Austin Hooper, I felt like, had a big game, even though he had a couple missed passes, which pissed me off because he's the highest paid tight end in the world.
I think he redeemed himself.
He did, because he did have that touchdown, 7 catches, 46 yards, so pretty good. But he was targeted a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So that was good. And then, the 4 turnovers, that's big too. And then Baker's performance is not to be sold short either. Like I said, I believe he so far has had the best performance in terms of QB rating out of any QB.
It's either QBR or PFF or quarterback.
I think it's QBR.
Rating. There's so many.
Quarterback rating, actually. I think it's quarterback rating.
There's so many.
But anyways, he went 21 of 34, 263, 3 touchdowns.
And there were a lot of drops.
No turnovers is the big one.
And there were I think 3 to 5 legitimate drops.
But I just think none that overwhelmed him. No failure offensively stood in his way. That's what I'm saying. Like, where I was nervous was the 2-3 announced in the third quarter after the Steelers were dominating and scoring quick. Mm-hmm. But then his response to that wasn't what we saw early in the season, where you kind of felt like he was chasing ghosts.
You start to panic. That's when you throw interceptions.
Having basically the happy feet. Just not knowing where to go, not setting himself, not being confident in his decision. We haven't seen that in a while, and we certainly didn't see that in this game.
No.
I mean, the dude was there. So the dude was there, and he was on.
And he continues not to turn the ball over. This is crazy. So since the Bengals game, okay? Since when he threw that interception where OBJ got hurt, that was on October 25th. Since then, he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games and has thrown 1 interception in that span. That was against the Ravens on Monday night.
Yep.
1.
Did have the 3 fumbles against the Jets, and I'm sure
That did
maybe
it,
one
of course.
or two,
Yep.
along the way, another game.
No, that's fair. That's of course, that's totally fair. But the fact that he threw 21 interceptions last year, and this year he had 7, 5, 6 games in, and he finishes the season with 8, and then he goes into his first playoff game on the road against the number 1 defense against the pass, best at blitzing 4 years in a row and sacks and all this crazy shit. Doesn't get touched, quick reads, all that crazy shit. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, you couldn't make that up, man.
No, what more could you ask for? I told you if we won, it would be storybook.
And it was. It was like, this is the stuff of legends. Like, this is the shit we'll tell our 20-year-old kids who have watched 15 years of terrible Browns football, because we'll be great for like the next 10 years and the cycle will continue. I'm just kidding. We'll be great forever. But this is the kind of stuff where, or even better yet, say we're good forever and you have your kid and he's like 15. He's like, oh, the Browns have always been good. And you go, listen, son, let me tell you a story about 99 to 2000 and how it all better. Yeah, and how it all turned around.
Yeah.
I
have the history episodes to show him.
This is it. I mean, my dad said, I was talking to him last night, he was like, let's go beat the Chiefs. I hope the Ravens beat the Bills. I was like, what are you talking about? Like Bills, Browns, Lake Erie Bros, AFC Championship. He's like, no. We need to cleanse all of our demons. I want the former Browns in the AFC Championship game. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would be epic. That would be, again, storybook. So
I know. I'm getting ahead. We got to, we're focused on this game.
Chiefs
we're going to be on to the Chiefs, yes.
So let's do anything else you want to say before you jump into quick predicts?
I'm just really happy. It's a miracle. Just for the record, I'm sure you guys are aware. We do play the Chiefs on Sunday at 3 o'clock, so we don't have a late night game. That's convenient. We have poker night the night before, so I plan on getting fucked up at poker night and sleeping all day and then starting to drink for the Browns. It's going to be awesome. Jeez. Anyways, sorry.
You're right.
I don't know. I'm just blown away. I mean, we all said, if the Browns could just make the playoffs, we don't even have to win. Let's just take the step of making the playoffs. We go 11-5. We make the playoffs. Of course, we have to face the Steelers. Last time we went to the playoffs in 2003, we had to face the Steelers in Pittsburgh, and we lost. And last minute. This time, we have totally flipped the switch. The switch. All the shit talking that Juju said with the nameless gray faces.
The Browns is Browns.
The Browns is the Browns.
That's my favorite thing in the world.
And the players are yelling that, doing his dance, everything.
Corvette.
Which I thought was really nice. So the Browns is the Browns after all, and the Browns is damn good. So I thought it was an incredible performance. What gives me the most confidence is, these will be my final thoughts moving forward, is this offense is really clicking, I think, at a really high level. We're able to run the ball, play action. Baker Mayfield is, we talked about it, looking like a top 10 quarterback, sharp as can be. He's got great chemistry with the offense. Jarvis, Higgins, Peoples-Jones coming back. I mean, we get Hodge back going into the next game. So everything is really good there, and it gives me a lot of confidence moving forward. I mean, how could it not? So I don't know, man. I'm just really excited, and now I'm like, if we lose to the Chiefs, it's like, okay, well, they're the Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions, best team in the NFL. But I'm already getting a little greedy. I'm like, did we beat the Steelers in heroic fashion?
Of course I want it. I will say, yesterday was like the Super Bowl to me in terms of Browns.
Yeah, we were running around in the streets and
Browns fandom and Browns
fireworks.
History. So anything after this for me is a bonus. If they go out there and they beat the Chiefs, I'll be ecstatic. It'll be like a bonus. It's a bonus round. It's Super Bowl V2, and then we'll do Super Bowl V3, 3.0, or whatever.
And then the actual
Super Bowl will be. I'm gonna be.
I'm not ready
pooping
for
my
that.
pants.
Oh, that'll be the longest week
I don't
of my
know
life.
the world will probably end at this point. It's
I do see that. The Tom Brady graphic of Tom Brady and Drew Brees all aged. That is hilarious.
Beard and history awaits. They're playing when they're 60.
That is really good. Anyways, yeah. What are your final thoughts, and we'll do our kind of quick predict reveals.
I pretty much feel the same way, man. This is historic. I couldn't be happier. I predicted a loss because I just couldn't see us climbing over the insurmountable odds that we faced between the COVID outbreaks and the injuries and the not having our head coach and all limited practice time. We didn't need practice to beat the Steelers, son. So I mean, I'm happy to eat my words. Frankly, I'll probably just I'll probably just predict a loss moving forward the rest of the playoffs if it keeps working out this way.
You son of a bitch.
I'm going to say we're going to lose to the Chiefs, and we're going to lose to the conference champion, and we're going to lose to the Super Bowl champion until we raise that Lombardi trophy, because clearly this is the way to go. This is the way to go.
Whatever you guys did during the game, do it again.
Repeat it every day until we win the Super Bowl.
So that means we have to watch it where we did. We have to eat way too many pizzas and
Till we
wings.
puke and we're sick.
We have to do it all. Yeah.
Sacrifices must be made, and I'm happy to lay my body on the line. That's an epic response.
That is funny. Some Steelers fan talking shit on Twitter, and you're like, "How you feeling, guy? You doing all right? Just concerned." And he said, "New phone, who dis?" Respect. Yeah. Some Steelers fans are cool. Well, very few. Very few. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Very, very few. Most of them are little assholes. So let's do this kind of quick predict reveals. Talk about that real quick, and then we'll get out of here and we're on to Kansas City.
We're on to Kansas City.
Quick predicts.
All right, hashtag kind of quick predicts. The way to win imaginary points that have tremendous value that we don't keep track of. We had a few participants for this one. You guys have been slacking yet again. Mike, we called you out, and you said you were going to be on top of it every time, and I don't think he's done it once. Maybe he did it one time.
He did it, I think, like once or twice.
Yeah,
he did fail us.
What a soft ass motherfucker. Anyway, so we got from Twitter at Bossy Cucumber, Aaron Rathbun, and Dan Berger, always loyal, respect Dan, at _land1, and then on YouTube, Francisco, who's become like one of our top commenters and a lot of fun. So appreciate you, Francisco. So let's get into it. Myles Garrett sacks. We were both
expecting big things from the man, which he did have a big game, but not.
He was very impactful
statistically.
Yeah, he was very impactful. I love the formation where in passing situations they put 3 linemen way over to one side and then Myles Garrett on his own, and they still had to have like 3 guys looking at him over there. That's a really good way to use a piece to disrupt an offense. But I said 3, you said 2. The closest, I guess, would have been Aaron Rathbun with 1, but he didn't have any sacks in this game, which is a little disappointing, but I'll take it.
So no points for anyone, unfortunately, due to the Price is Right rules. Everyone going over, but the points will be distributed this quick predicts because it's a big win. So.
That's right.
Moving on to
for everyone but you.
Moving on, I get some point.
I'm saying not for the win.
No, not for the win, but because just the.
All right, carrying on.
We won the playoff game.
Chunt rushing yards. Where everybody's way over.
We both everyone really expected a big game. You said 205. I said 156. Actual is 124.
But I would like to say, and I don't deserve points for this, but I would like to say that Chunt, their total yards from their scrimmage yards, including receiving yards, was 204.
I'll give you a point for it.
I get a point? I appreciate that. Because that was like dangerous. Well, after the game, I was like, did we say Chunt total yards? And you're like, no.
We said rushing yards.
Damn it. I almost nailed it.
You get a point.
I'll take it. I appreciate it. Everyone else, no one's close to it.
No one's close. Everyone went over, which is fine. Francisco was the closest, but he does go over.
Yep. Dan Berger said 213, which again, if we're talking about total yards, he's close, but yeah. Whatever.
Still would have gone over, so no points.
That's
Baker Mayfield turnovers. Me and you both expected at least 1 from the guy.
I'm sorry, Baker.
But we failed him.
I'll never doubt you again.
We failed him because the man was spotless, super clean.
Super clean.
No turnovers
Beautiful
for him.
feet.
And so we have Dan Berger and Francisco both get points for predicting. Kind of quick predicts.
Thank you for believing,
turnovers.
Boys. Respect.
2 points. Big Ben passing yards was our next one, and you could go ahead and lead it off.
He threw for an incredible amount of yards. I predicted the most with 385.
Oh, yeah, so you get points.
Which means I'm going to win the points. You said 342. I'm under. He ended up with 501 yards, which is the second most in a postseason game ever. First most being Tom Brady against the Eagles in the Super Bowl, in which he threw for 505 yards. So
correct.
Second most of all time. Second 500 passing yard game. Both players to throw for 500 yards in the postseason have lost. And then I see here you have Dan Berger.
It's a mistake.
Highlighted, but he predicted 0.
1 second. It's a mistake. I must have mistakenly something.
A mistake has occurred. So he must have done...
I'm human.
Potentially a good prediction.
He had the winning... thing.
He is bolded as if he did win.
Right.
So
I think
just type in hashtag Kennel Quick Predicts.
Yeah, you're right.
Is this your first time on the internet? Struggling here. Latest, and then scroll down.
Relax.
You'll see him.
Jesus. He didn't use the hashtag, so we have to
So it's
dig.
his fault. It is his fault.
Partially.
Okay,
So
what'd he say?
he said 202 yards.
Oh, so he's way off.
So he's way
He's
off.
nowhere close.
And he
So I win.
did not win.
I win all the points. We did all that for you, Dan, and you said 202 yards.
Aaron Rathbun
Which I respect.
would be, which is at Bossy Cucumber on Twitter. He would technically be the closest and did not go over, so he gets the points
He
here.
can have some points.
So
All right,
you and
great.
Aaron get the points.
That's great. That's great.
Points.
Congratulations.
And then on to the final score of the wild card game. Browns v. Steelers at Heinz.
48-37. Everyone predicted a
What?
win except for you.
Except for me. I predicted a loss, and like I said, we'll continue to do that. I said I might just be naked for this episode as punishment.
Whoa.
I didn't do that. You don't remember that?
I don't know.
I did say yesterday, pretty late into the night, which is,
Oh, yeah, that's why.
by then it's probably lost into the ether.
that's tough.
But final score, 48-37. You went 35-31, so you get the points. Everyone else, no one's really that close.
Dan Berger said 38-35.
Dan
That's in
Berger's
the
pretty
realm.
close, but I meant close in terms of like predicting the difference. Like like Aaron Rathbun, he's pretty close there in 38-27.
That looks like 48-37.
Kind of close.
He's got the digits right.
Kind of
he's
close.
Just 10 off for each one.
Yeah, so he gets points. You all get points. For
Everyone gets
predicting the
points.
win.
We've done it. Kennel Quick Predicts, hashtag blah, blah, blah. Browns win, dude. We scored 48 points against the Steelers and we won.
We did it.
So I don't
Moving on
know.
to Kansas City now.
Yeah, I don't even know what more you could ever want. I feel great about it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you follow, subscribe, like, notification bells and stuff at Football Kennel, YouTube, podcast
Leave a
apps.
comment, do the thing.
Tell your friends,
Rate
and
5 stars.
We're on to Kansas City, so we'll be back.
on to the defending world champs.
That's right. We'll be back in a few days. Probably Friday we'll have the episode up or something like that. We make it up as we go. And
as we have always done.
that's right. And then we're on to Kansas City in the divisional round of the playoffs. 1-0 in the playoffs.
Unbelievable. Go Browns.
Go Browns.